think mid threes, but then 2020,
that's when
those were the 2.9.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, I bought my house in 2020, and
There you go.
I'm at a 2.2.
Woo!
Free money.
That's free. Holy.
So
Christ.
yeah, so I got that, and I actually had one tenant call me the other day. I actually did this a few years ago with a different tenant. And he said, "Hey, you know, our family's growing, this and that. We can't afford a house, but we like you as a landlord. Is there any way you'd buy a single family and we'd move in there?" So
Okay.
that might be, you know, kind of mid-June, start looking at that. But yeah, they've been there 3 years and they're great tenants. And it's, like I said, I had someone else who was one of my other places.
Can you
And
financially like justify that? Because I mean, you got to buy a new place, but they need to kind of pay.
well, I mean, they'd have to pay the premium. Yeah, I mean,
but they are able to.
I mean,
willing. Okay, yeah.
I mean,
Why can't they afford a house? Why can't they buy?
they are very unrealistic with housing. Like I kind of threw it out there. I was like, "Well, are you looking?" And he's like, "Oh, maybe." And I was like, "Oh, well, what's your range?" And he was like, "I don't know." I'm like, "Have you talked to a bank?" And he's like, "No, we don't like banks."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Okay, so then how are you going to buy this?"
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Well, you know, maybe if we find one for like 150 or 200 grand, we'd buy it." And I was like, Milwaukee, and I'm like, "You're not finding that."
Let me know
So,
if you do.
right, yeah, you should buy that right away, right? So they're just like super unrealistic about it, and like I don't know, they probably have stuff going on that they don't want to get involved with banks or whatever.
Yeah.
I just feel like they're one of those couples that'll never buy a house, and so like if I can find a house for them, and
Sure, they can pay it off for
they
you.
can be there, yeah. I mean, even if they guarantee me like 5 years, you know, get a good chunk going. and that kind of thing. So
I was
yeah,
curious.
so it's weird because like yeah, I asked him and he's like, yeah, you know, I don't really know and this and that.
Yeah.
Like it's like you are so uneducated. And,
Oh my gosh, yes.
you know, I'll
Right.
use that to my advantage right
Yeah.
now. But yeah, like I don't think they don't. They both kind of work
Send
the
that to me,
system
right?
as far as their income and all that. So you know,
Like
for
no
a
income on
landlord,
paper type.
right? Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I think they just don't want to or don't. It'll work
Works
out,
for
you know. So yeah.
Cool. This is curious.
Yeah.
You're very nice.
If they want to pay for it, you know, why not? But yeah.
Is that the same areas you're looking for a single family for them?
Yeah, I mean it's within like a mile of where they're at now. So, which I mean, financially I don't think it's really going to work. They'd have to either come up a lot in rent or really make a compromise. But you know, it's worth a discussion.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
what do you guys really want? Because you claim you want the world, but you know, what can you afford and all that and everything. So.
When especially like if they can afford to pay you for a brand new rental,
Right.
then
Yeah.
they can afford to buy a house because
Right.
they're gonna have to cover everything that you have to cover. So
Yeah, I mean it's the down payment.
Yeah.
But like I don't think they have the down payment.
Sure.
Like I said, I don't think they want to work with the bank. You know, all that.
Yeah.
Could be the bank.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and he even said rent to own, and I was like, yeah, but like you know, how minimal is that?
Yeah.
And are they ever gonna?
Yeah.
You know, are they ever gonna own it? Like, yes, it would benefit me, and when they walk away, you know, they lose all that money. But like,
Sure.
why screw around with that? Just kind of let it go the way it should. And
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll see. It's an interesting proposition, but
You got a few going per year, huh? That's pretty good.
yeah. So
I'm just trying to get to one a year.
it
All of a sudden, it just starts happening now.
Yeah.
does.
And
Yeah.
then it's like, man, busy.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm already like I can feel my hockey stick forming. You know.
Right.
It's a good spot to be when you're sitting on some funds on all three of my LLCs and myself.
Mhm.
All we're ready. So
Right.
Yeah.
good spot to be.
Well, and if you listen to Bigger Pockets, that's what they're talking about. They're like, get your cash ready because like the market is like it's forming into a good buying market. But we'll see. I mean, that's
Right.
also,
Is that
Town by town.
nationally? Yeah.
yeah, they're talking
So
more
it's like, what the
nationally
heck
with that, but
does that even mean?
If you did that.
Dwayne, have you done that intake survey yet? I can't remember if you did before. I know you've been doing it. I don't know if
I'm
you did.
Sure, I did because I joined.
Just ignore that. Can I get your info over here? You want to scan that and text me your info? Scan it with that, and then I'll.
You should have her because she's
Can
the
I
speaker.
just send,
Well, just like literally just save it to my. I probably have it somewhere, but
I guess does everyone do like single family, multi-family?
I have one single family
you can,
and
like,
then
reply
two
back with yours,
duplexes.
but then we both have it.
But then I'm also a realtor, so I'm also managing some of my clients' properties as well as helping them find just about anything. So like some of them are looking commercial, some of them are looking
Out of necessity.
small
only, let me
multifamily, some
tell
are
you.
looking flip
Yeah.
single family.
Okay.
It's all over.
Are you investing mainly in like the Milwaukee area or
Yeah.
South Side, this area? Or?
I like what I call the Milwaukee Crescent, which is like Tosa, West Dallas,
Okay. Like
Greenfield, Greendale,
yeah,
all the way over to like Cudahy,
Yeah.
St. Francis, just that whole little C shape around the city.
Okay. Yeah. Where do you I personally don't see a lot of available like duplexes or anything like that really in that Greenfield.
Yeah,
Like,
Greenfield
like-
and Greendale, they start to get a little pricey.
Yeah. And then in Cudahy, I don't really see anything that often either.
Yeah, I mean, I would say West Dallas is what I'm most excited about as
Okay.
far as the neighborhood, but you know, it. Yeah, I know. I even think that like with bigger pockets, every once in a while they mention Milwaukee, and as an agent, I'm like, yes, more clients. As the investor, I'm like, everyone stay away, leave this alone.
Every time somebody sells a West Dallas, this is not like perfect. Keep it that way. Like
Yeah.
it's such a growing
Yeah.
city. Like I was, I own a property, so I own a mixed use on 63rd and National.
Okay.
I own a side by side in Franklin off of 27th Street.
Okay.
And both of those properties I purchased seller financing. So like the
Nice.
mixed use is 0 interest for 6 years, and then there's the Franklin one. I have it for it was started off at 4%, non-compounding, just flat interest rate, and then this year we just jumped it up to 6% to get closer to market standards.
Okay.
Yeah, so like I prefer that type of route for investing, quality versus quantity.
Sure.
I purchased my first duplex when I was 27 years ago, and then I realized this wasn't the right move for me. I decided to build up my cash and capital stack, and I ended up buying those 6 units all within 2 months of each other. Me and a partner own them. One of them was the townhouse. We did $10,000 each down payment. The mixed use in West Dallas, because he hired an attorney who was so old he didn't understand loan assumptions and stuff like that. We went in $100,000 each on the mixed use. So it was just like super, one of them was super high down payment, one of them was super low down payment, but the numbers worked out anyways. So it's not too much, but we walked out on a ton of equity in both deals, so it worked out perfectly. But like going back to what you were saying, for me, the way that I look at it is everybody has their own preference of what type of unit they like to invest in. It's what works best for you. I'm not a fan of single family. Like I won't invest in single family. I would rather just flip, move on. I know people, I manage multifamily, so it's nice when you see like, okay, I lost a tenant or 2 tenants, or, I just finished an eviction on one of my clients' 8 units that I manage. It's like, okay, one tenant wasn't paying for 4 months or 2 months or 3 months, but the other 7 were. So it's like, something goes bad, you're still getting that cash flow versus, something happens, single family, you're sitting there 2-3 months trying to find a new tenant or, redoing, renovating the unit to get somebody back in there. It's like, you look back after like 3 years, you're like, I didn't make any money. That's how I look at it. So I'm just not a fan of single family. To answer like your question, but everybody has their own different type of how they like to invest.
Sure.
I agree because I've been changing a little bit. I think I would like to have some single families because those tenants stay longer. They tend to do other stuff, right? So even I might miss 3 months, but that tenant is snow. They'll shovel the snow, and now I don't have to do that. So it's like you said, I think you'll run into someone and be like, hey, I don't want to deal with residential anymore, and I just want commercial. So I think you just got to find out what really works for you.
June find people not in single family. I know you're not saying that,
Yeah.
but like my triplex guy did the lawn and stone for like 3.5 years, without
Yeah.
really a peep, dutifully. It's like, okay. But that's not everybody, but yeah. But my question here philosophically, maybe, and maybe we'll switch after
Yep.
this, but
Yep.
when do you actually really make money in real estate? Like,
Yeah.
because if you're going off cash flow, you're just surviving with your payments month to month, and then you have a huge expense, and then you've lost money, or you have a cash out refinance, and now you're flush with money. Like, I don't know if there actually really is an answer that I could say, but like, you make money in times, and then you lose money in times when you have a big repair or a tenant damage or whatever. But yeah, the scale is the only thing I think that saves you, because the cash flow in the short term is what you're like living off of, is what I would say. But I don't know. Chime in.
I agree with a lot of that. So at least for me, the way that I look at it, like with my units, is I'm not looking so much as a cash flow. Like, I do have a ton of equity that's stuck in, aside from the fact, like, one of them, the mixed use is a 2 commercial, 2 residential. I got it for $350 or $330. I'm sorry, I got it, and that's easily, now after the updates, I'm building out the commercial space, and the valuation goes up higher. So like my money or my value is stuck in the property until I tap into it. I guess the way that I look at it. And aside from me, the way that I look at like my residential, why I'm not just like running around buying everything that I see, is I'm looking at it as like a piggy bank. Maybe 10, 15 years later down the road, when I have built a lot more equity, that's where the cash flow is better. There's equity within the properties, and that's where, like, for me, it's more feasible. I use fix and flips to fund financing and buying these properties. And ultimately, I think, like we talked about, like Charles, like, getting into other things is where you make your money. But it's talking about the grass thing. The Franklin is 1.3 acres, and the tenant just cuts it. He just likes to. Even the seller's wife was cutting the seller's wife I bought it for. She was cutting it because she just liked to do it. So. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes.
See, and I call equity paper money. I feel like it's dead money, and like if you're not doing anything with it, you're kind of losing out. But some people might just feel like, hey, it's like you said, it's a piggy bank. I can always tap into it, where I feel like it's dead money because inflation is hitting it. If you had that money in a savings account, it'd be losing money. So it's better for me to pull it out and put it back to use. But it's just really on their person's risk averse.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's just like, but how soon, right? Because it's not always dead. Like, you have to stabilize it or whatever, depending. So it's like, you just always realize.
I feel like if the bank will give you the money, you should pull it out and put it to use, because it's better being put to use with you than just sitting there. Because let's just say inflation is what, 3%. It's appreciating at 5%, so you're really only doing 2%. It's better for me to take that out and put it in something that's
that
maybe
is
10.
optimal. Yes.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying typical. Yeah.
But yeah, no.
I think money is not real, so that's why I'm always like that. And I think kind of like your philosophy, you're always going with this up and down. You're gonna have something where it takes 30,000 away from you, but now you're fixing it up. But then I can go do a fix and flip, and I'm up back. I sell that for 70. I'm up 40 now.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, this might take 6 months, and instead of taking it now when I can get this amount, I do just have to wait, and I can actually get more, for the time costs or whatever. And
I mean, that's present value and future value, right? If I hold it longer, I'm going to get 50,000 in 3 years. But if I take that money out today, I'm going to get 30. Can I do something today with that 30 that's going to surpass that 50 in 3 years? And I always think yes.
Yeah.
Going back to what you're saying, like, I want to ask you a question. So like my with those 2 properties, there's a decent amount of equity that could be deployed into something else. But like right now, the way that I'm looking at it is, aside from the fact that one of them is 0 interest, every principal payment that I make toward the property, even though it's kind of like the landlord, he's still or the seller, I'm sorry, he was still leasing from us back. So basically, like, his payment is for his rent is like our payment for the principal amount, right? And then aside from the Franklin property is such a minimal balance on the interest rate. So the way that I look at it is, like, until I do find that property or that investment that makes sense, it doesn't make sense for me to even just refi or recapture some of that equity, keep it kind of like on the side and be actively ready, because it's very hard for me to get a line of credit on a mixed use or, on a commercial property or even anything like that. You know, so right now the way I'm looking at it is like, yes, I know it's imaginary equity, not there, I can't grasp it, but I'm still building up, you know, my principal rather than just pulling out a loan and now combating the 7-8% that I'm gonna get on a portfolio loan or on each individual loan, if that makes sense.
But what are you gonna get on the other side, right? Because you're just looking on the downside.
Short term.
Yeah. And you're saying, if I pull this out, now I got this new thing, but what are you doing with it right now? That next thing you're getting is 15%.
Yeah.
Does that 7% even matter?
Yeah.
Right? You're just being a bank, right? That's all a bank does is take our money, they give us 3%, and then they go loan it out for 7%. So that's their profit margin. That's you know, they was talking 2019. That's where my head is right now, right?
Be nice.
But yeah, no, I
want to bank with you.
I mean, I just feel like
Yeah.
it's like scaling, right? I think if you're sitting, you're losing, right? I mean, that's really what it is. And if you have that cash, your cash is worth less the longer you hold on to it. So the sooner you can put it to use and put it is just because you got to keep recycling,
Sure.
right? So when you stop, everything stops.
So you're saying if you've got a property that's paid off,
You should
and
Should
pull
never
money
be
out.
paid off.
You should.
also if you pay it off, because like we have one that's paid off, and they say that you should pull it out, but if I'm pulling it out to buy something else, why am I not just getting a loan on that something else? Because at the end of the day, it's.
I mean, you're
it's the same
leveraging
money.
it, right? Because that's equity is pulled
But
out.
you
Now
are.
I can do a HELOC or cash out refi.
Right.
Now I got that cash to go do something else, right?
But if you have that something else and you just took a loan on that, it's at the end of the day, you're taking a loan on $200,000. Let's just say.
I think the difference is if you already have the cash.
Yeah.
Like if you do have the cash, then yeah, just go do it. But if you don't have the cash, now you can tap into that
Right.
equity and use it as your cash.
But I mean, so
I always
Yeah,
think of
but
Microsoft.
it's-
Microsoft has $1 trillion in cash.
right,
How do they pay their dividends?
right,
They always borrow money.
okay, yeah,
So you have your 50,000. Why use your 50,000 when you can go borrow against this thing? And if all hells break loose, they take the thing. You still got your 50,000.
Mhm.
So
Right.
that's how I kind of look at it. I'm always using other people's money.
yeah. I guess I just don't like that's the one because we've talked about the one that we own, and we're just like, what if you're gonna borrow
Because
50,000?
now like you said, we're borrowing this $250,000 house, right? We
Right.
can go get a loan. It's our well, you still need a down payment. Why don't I just pull it from this, right? So even
But
though
then
I
you're
can
not
pull
making
because you can
money.
pull 200, right? Let's just say you pull 200 out of that thing that has equity. I only need 50 to go get that 250.
Right.
Now I got 150 to either fix it up, or now I got 150 to go get the next one.
Yeah.
And the next one, and now all of a sudden you have.
But then if you're looking for pure monthly cash flow, you're probably not getting it then.
Well, and I think that's the difference is like, are you in
That's-
scale mode
right,
or are
right,
you
cash
in
flow.
collect mode?
Right.
And
If you're
those are two
cash
very
flow,
different
then
things.
Yeah, I think
doesn't
you
work
go
out.
through business cycles, right? So I
Right.
feel like you getting 13 units in 2 years is scale mode.
Right.
Right. And so now, how are you going to sustain that? Now,
Right.
are you going to go the next 5 years and start collecting, or are you going to go from
Right,
13
which
to
is-
30?
Right.
Right. And then so you have to keep borrowing.
Right. At
You,
some
your
point, yeah,
risk.
if you want to keep.
Yes, your risk tolerance has to change for what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
But some people stay stuck and then they just continue doing the thing. Like I had someone who reached out. They want to scale, but they bought a property and just fixed it up enough to raise the rent.
Right.
And now they're stuck.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And so that could be someone where they're cash flowing. Was that a good deal? To them, actually, no.
Right.
Because their strategy, they wanted to scale.
Scale.
So I would have
They
said
don't
that
have
was a
enough
bad
leverage.
deal for them, even though it was cash flowing.
It was a
Right.
good deal for someone else.
Yeah, it could
but
have been a deal,
That's
like-
not their strategy.
So, no, this is awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming. We're already like 17 minutes in, but welcome to AspiRE. This came out of, I always got to give credit to Ryan, even though he just walked away. Ryan started this back in 2022, roughly.
Like probably one maybe.
2021
Yeah.
during COVID. It was something else. I met him around 2023, 2024-ish. We started talking and came to a couple of their meetings. We maintained connection. And then it had to be before 2024 because 2024, I kind of reached out to him. I said, hey, I'm joining this brokerage at Next Home My Way. They have this conference room they never use. I think that would be an awesome place where we can start meeting. Did that in, I think it was roughly October of 2024. Since then, we've been meeting here once a month. And last year, we decided to kind of rebrand ourselves to AspiRE, to, I guess, become like a media company. I don't know, like an ecosystem. His whole thinking was create something where we can keep everything within it. And that very aligned with what I wanted to do, since I'm a broker here at Next Home Byway, and I just work with investors. So I don't work with retail. If anyone comes to me and say, I want to buy a $500,000 house, that'd be awesome. Let me refer you to someone, because you saying I want to raise my family in this kitchen, I can't be empathetic. But if you say, hey, how can I change this kitchen to raise it $1,000 in rent, I can have that conversation all day. So with him saying that, I was like, hey man, I think it'd be cool if I can bring this here, because it'll create this ecosystem of people that I want to serve, because half of my clients are out of state and they always need to connect with someone. And I felt like this would be a great opportunity to do that. And then just meeting other awesome people like Tabitha, a lender who helped one of my clients. He was the last month's speaker, Jamal. She helped him close on a duplex with no money down, and he got a $1,900 check afterwards. I know that doesn't happen often, but she's going to share that story and we'll get into it. What I do like to do, if this will work, we're doing it backwards, but I try to do a little presentation of, the state of the market, and then just go over some stuff. So this is going to be about kind of what happened with Jamal, and kind of house hacking and him getting into it that way. This is my little saying, but I kind of wanted to bring it to this, is that we don't help you buy homes. We help you buy real estate business, build a real estate and business, investment business. And that's what I kind of say. I don't help you buy a property. I help you buy a business. It just so happens to be a property. Because as soon as you buy that duplex, you're collecting rent. That's a business. It's not a home. Even though you might stay in it, you're collecting rent and you're responsible for someone's life. And kind of like what we're talking about, my thing is with my clients, if I help them recoup their money quicker, start collecting cash, they're going to hurry up and buy another property, right? Because I think everyone has a number. And so the sooner you get to it, the sooner you can live the life that you're trying to live, right? So I think that's why I might be very aggressive with, hey, you should always borrow the money, but I also don't think money's real. I think it's a figure of our imagination, right? A little bit. So I think we do get bogged down of not wanting to take this risk on this thing that we call money. And I think what ruined it for me was getting my finance degree. And when they described to me what money is, it was not this thing that I thought it was, right? It's this thing that holds value. And I'm like, what are you talking about, right? And it's like, fiat. Yeah, it's a fiat. It's like, what? And it's like, oh, money is not this thing. They took it off the gold standard and they print it. So it's like, okay, what is this thing that we're doing? And
promissory note, right?
Promissory note, right? Yeah. Right. And so like, that's why I say equity is dead money, right? Because it's just like, I always bring up Tesla because Elon Musk and his weirdness. But when he was on Joe Rogan, right, his Tesla stock was up. He took a puff of the smoke. Stock went down like $200. Yeah, that's equity, right? One day you say you got $50,000. Hey, what's up? How you doing, sir? Welcome. Come on. Take a seat. There's some food over there. And so that's why I'm always like that with equity.
Funds available or whatever. But hey, I'm Ryan.
So that's why I always feel like that about equity.
Go for it, buddy.
It's water. Well, water's over there, sir. So don't take it like I'm challenging you. I just think like if your goal is to build up your real estate portfolio, cash flow is going to come. You just got to get to that point where eventually, as you pay things off, that cash flow is going to be there. But I feel like it's about accumulating, right? So I know we're in Milwaukee, but because I do cover southeastern Wisconsin, I'm gonna give numbers on Milwaukee, Racine, and Kenosha. I think those are up and coming markets. I think if you're really trying to invest and are really trying to build up your portfolio, you have to consider those markets. They are being really affected by the things that are getting built out there. Microsoft campus. Eli?
Uline? Uline?
Not Uline, no, it's the healthcare.
Oh.
Lilly?
Eli Lilly.
I think they're building out there.
Pharmaceutical company.
Yep, pharmaceutical, they're building out there, and then there's Amazon just, they've already built their fulfillment center, but
Like a whole city.
they got a whole city out there. So I think there's opportunity. So what I've been telling people is that I want to say Racine was probably what Milwaukee was like 5 years ago, and Kenosha, not realizing it is considered like a lake town. So it has very expensive stuff there. So actually their average price, which you'll see, is it's higher than ours, just because of the properties you can get there. So I know you don't really want to talk about rates, but I know rates is not the story. I always say it's preparation. If you're an investor, you don't let rates dictate what you do in the market.
Marry the house, date the rate.
Or don't even marry the house, right? Because you're someone else is paying for it. She's a prostitute. You're concubine. That's all she is a concubine. But that's what I try to like teach people is like, you should never be like, I'm not buying right now because the rates went up. You should never say that as an investor. You should definitely say that if you're a home buyer and you are dependent on someone else paying your salary.
But so it may be just a quick aside.
Yeah.
Here's why to me, and I think this is widely applicable, but like in the short term, it kind of just like doesn't matter. Like we're saying for scaling up, that's a short term thing. It's algorithmic. Can the rents offset all of the expenses, rate, PITI, whatever? Like it's all just one thing. What's the total cost? Can I either get close enough where that spread is justifiable, or can I raise rents and get, cash flow back? But it's just algorithmic. Like the rate doesn't matter if you can still break even or get what you want.
Yeah.
But then you got to move forward. That's the whole point. The rate again doesn't decide whether you move forward.
And that's where it says right here, weak operators react, strategic investors position, right? If you know your number, if the rate went up, you're just like Home Depot. Number went up, what do? They charge their customers more. Your customers are renters. You should charge them more, right? You're not, yes, you're being a capitalist. You're not being an evil landlord, right? You're just doing what anybody in business does. You're just in the business of providing great homes. And that's what you always have to do. You have to remind yourself that you are providing a service. It's just in homes. And you should provide great homes. Don't be the landlord that buys something, know you should improve it, and you don't, and then you still try to raise rents. I feel like those are the individuals that hurt what we're trying to do. And that's part of the reason why I just want to work with investors. And that's one of the reasons why I like working with out-of-state investors, because I feel like we need the foreign aid. That's what I call them. Because some of them are willing to invest in areas that people here won't, right? And so you need someone who's like, okay, I'm willing to put that risk in because there is a higher return, right? And so I feel like you do need those individuals, but I don't totally always blame the out-of-state investor because they're always working with someone local. So if that property didn't get fixed up, someone local didn't do something either. So I don't just blame them, I blame someone who is local. And so if I can impede that and our communities are better because of that, then I think it's a win-win. So Milwaukee, last month, April, median sold price was $285. We have half of a year of supply, 9 days, median days on the market. That means they got to accept an offer. So I'll just stop and ask, what does month of inventory help you as an investor decide? If inventory is low, that means something's on the market quick. How could that affect your strategy? And let's just say you're doing a fix and flip.
More supply or better demand.
Yep. So that means you are more likely to sell your fix and flip than if it was more supply on the market, right? And what I tell, like, this is what I use with my out-of-state investor. If you like something, you better bid, right? Because our market is still hot. If something is bid right, it's going to get an accepted offer. I have my license. There's not a day I don't go on the MLS and something that didn't have an accepted offer the day before has one today. There's not a day I haven't went and there was no accepted offers, right? So someone's always buying in our market. It's just a matter of, are you ready to move forward with it, right?
How are like the year-over-year trends to see if the market is softening or heating up?
So
I saw in Redfin it said it was maybe softening a little bit with supply sitting a little longer, but again, 9 days. Like, how does that compare to 2024, 2023?
I would say things was moving faster probably 2 years ago. Now it's slowed up, and then with everything currently happening now, it's kind of slow, but you have seen some mortgage applications pick up.
I'd agree.
Which is hard to say because it's spring, so
Yep.
there's always a little bit of an uptick in spring anyways, but.
So you're gonna get people who normally was like, I'm sitting on the fence, but when it's get warm, especially in Wisconsin.
No, that's what I'm saying, like spring to spring, like Q2 25 to Q2 24, 3, 2.
I want to say it's slowed, but I would say it's slowed. So I feel like if something priced wrong, it's gonna sit longer. Where last year, if it was priced wrong, it still could go.
I've been saying that to my clients that like a good deal is gonna fly off the market, but if it's overpriced even a little bit, or it's just not, worth the money, it's gonna sit for a very long time currently.
So that's why I say like the 6%. So like this is the medium, so right, there's an average. It's always weird, but like I know like our average is like 400,000. So this is the medium. So like Milwaukee County does have, areas surrounding it that will boost up its price, and it's not exactly Milwaukee. It's so like Shorewood, your West Dallas, all of them are higher price. So they're always going to raise Milwaukee County's actual sold price. But I would say prices are still higher than they were last year because just properties are still depreciating. But if it's priced wrong, it's going to sit. I don't know if that answers your question. Kind of, maybe.
By the way, are these numbers Milwaukee County or city?
I believe these are Milwaukee County. I took this off of RPR.
Sure.
It's not MLS, and I know RPR pulls stuff from MLS, so it might be a little bit off, but I trust it.
And I mean, they're all approximate anyways.
Yes.
And they're gonna change day to day.
So it's just saying good assets in Milwaukee. I agree. Like everyone wants to come here. We're still top 2 in rents, I believe. So it's a great place to come, put your money. I know a lot of out-of-state investors look here based on what they can get somewhere else. Like I have an investor in San Francisco. He knows that his 200,000 doesn't get him nothing there, but 200,000 gets him a nice duplex in Milwaukee. He's going to get a higher return on his cash-on-cash return. That same client bought a single family for 127, put 60 in it. He was all in about 187. It appraised at 249, and he's renting it out for 2,200. So he's getting like a 20% cash-on-cash return. And he was able to refinance. I think he pulled out maybe 75% of his money. And that's what I've been kind of telling my clients too. Don't expect to get all 100% of your money back, but if you can get 75% where you can scale, right? I put 80 in, I'm getting 60 back, got 60, go get the next deal. All right.
Freddie Fannie, it's 75% up to a 4 unit.
To refinance out, right?
For cash out.
So racing, I told you, like price is a little bit less. I would say that's why I say I think it's a great market to consider. It has a smaller inventory, but it's a smaller city. Things are, again, I feel like anything in the Midwest, especially Southeastern Wisconsin, because we're so close to Chicago, you get a lot of Chicago people investing in our area. If it's priced right, I'm serious. If it's priced right, it's gonna get an accepted offer. It's rare that I've seen something that was priced right and it's sitting for like 2 weeks and then they get an accepted offer at that price. I haven't really seen it. Appreciation again is high. It's going. Racing is another place I keep forgetting is right by the lake, and it's a beautiful place. I lived there for a year. You don't realize how close it is. They have properties that's right overlooking the lake, and they're probably being sold for like 400,000. Which, if you pick that up and put it by ours, it's 750. So, I want to do an Airbnb lake play there. That's my goal. That's my 5-year goal. It's a lower barrier. So again, if you don't have, you say you want a house hack, if you don't have a barrier of like, I have to live in Milwaukee, it's a great place to do a house hack because you can get something cheaper. Like I said, I'll be up by house hacking. 36% growth over 3 years. Again, I think because a lot of the stuff that is happening in that area with all this businesses being built, it's having a great opportunity. Expansion is growing. They're building up a lot of stuff out there. So new development, it's a great opportunity to do that as well in racing. And then Kenosha, like I said, it's the higher medium price. I feel like it's considered like a lake town. It's probably like Wisconsin-Dale, if you want to think of it from that standpoint, because they have a rule there where you cannot do short-term rentals. You have to have a license, or you have to live in it. So they are very protective of those opportunities like that there. Again, their inventory is even smaller than racing and ours. They have the same 5 days. So, and 5 days on the market means they got to accept an offer. And it said Kenosha benefits directly from Chicago. I do feel like you're getting a lot of people that's moving up, and I think you are getting some people from Milwaukee moving down to take advantage of those opportunities.
Just even folks hopping over the state line
Yep.
to avoid the high taxes in Illinois.
It's growing for
Yep.
sure. My wife's family is all from there, and there's just all sorts of stores and stuff popping up everywhere in
Yep.
Kenosha.
So like I said, I think it's a great play. I think Kenosha racing is what Milwaukee was 5 years before Bigger Pockets started talking about it. So I definitely think they're going to be picking up soon. Again, that's high demand, fast moving, lowest entry level is in racing. There is a supply constraint there. So that's why I said I think it's a great opportunity. I know their racing and Kenosha, their development and their, I forget the technical name, but they're trying to produce more developments. And you got so many people in Milwaukee trying to build that I think there's great opportunities if you want to do some new construction.
One of the national largest builders, which is D.R. Horton. They have a stigma to their name, like in the South, like for some of their quality products, but they're building subdivisions, multifamily townhouses throughout Kenosha, or Racine and Kenosha, like crazy right now. And I have a client who's in that market too. I'm putting offers on single family homes, 30 plus thousand over asking. They're telling you like, yeah, man, keep moving. Legit, we're not getting nothing. Like people are offering. There's this home in Kenosha, I think it went over $50,000 over asking.
So they're Milwaukee when COVID was in,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you weren't supposed to be here right now. I'm gonna skip over.
But I am.
I'm gonna come back to you.
I'm
So-
everywhere again.
I want to just talk about this because I want to lead into it because obviously you helped my client and he's doing house hacking. So obviously this is a great way to get into investing. Our goal as AspiRE is always giving you something to keep you moving forward. So like, for example, I helped build a calculator that we have and it's built off the AspiRE. So we wanted to create something that gives someone framework, right? How do you analyze something? So how we do it is AspiRE is an acronym. So A is for asset, the address. So what are you analyzing? What it is? Is it a duplex? And what are you trying to accomplish? So you should have an exit strategy when you're looking at something. S is for a seller situation. So is the seller in distress? Is it an LLC? Is it a city owned? Is it bank owned? That helps you with your negotiation. And then P is purchase price or purchase assumption. Obviously the seller has a price. You should have an assumption, right? You should know, like, I think it's worth this, everything else. And then I is for improvement or investment. what do you need to do? Typically, everything we want to do is value add. So because you want to pull the money back out and recycle it. R is for revenue. So is it cash flow or is you selling it for fix and flip? And then E is exit strategy. And we base the calculation off 5 exits. It's either buy and hold, BRRRR, fix and flip, seller financing, or wholesaling. And so if you run the numbers, the calculator will basically give you one of those outcomes. It's still under testing, but I have given it out to some people. It's working, but I haven't given it out to everyone yet. But I think Devin wants me to give it to you so you can try it out. So this is the other thing of, again, where it comes into equity, waiting costs, right? I think the more you wait and you're not pulling the trigger, then your money is not being put to use. Again, my risk is probably a higher of some people and say, hey, I'd rather have it sit. I just think you're losing out exactly on appreciation, right? So 1 year ago it was 20%, now it's 36%, 36 months later. So, I mean, again, you're just missing out on opportunities where your money is going to grow substantially for you. So even if you pull the money out and put it somewhere else, I think not only do you get to recycle it, but I think you get to play with it twice, right? I can buy this thing, fix it up, pull that same money out and go get the next thing, and I'm still playing with the same 50,000 that I put in there. So for me to have it just sit there, I think you just lose it out on how you can double use it and still have that same asset. Strategic path. The market is still moving, right? Our market, regardless of what's going on in the world, people are still, need somewhere to live. And that's the beauty of being in real estate. AI is not going to affect us as much because I don't know how you artificially place your bed. I mean, it definitely has affected some of the things that I can do. Like now I know I can analyze a deal by just giving the information. It's helping me speed up. Like I know I've sent out more offers now using my calculator just because I have the confidence now of actually putting an email together and sending it out to clients or agents. So I don't really do off-market deals. I like MLS because I feel like I like when the property has been tested by the market. And when the market says you are wrong, it's better to negotiate where someone's off-market saying, hey, my property's worth 200,000. Give me 200,000 or I'll just sit here. Where if they put it on the market and it's worth 200,000, it's on 90 days. Guess what, buddy? It's not worth 200,000. So I think for me, it's easier to have those conversations. I think his opportunity still exists. I think there's a deal waiting for all of us if we want it, right? I don't think there's not a deal. There's not a day that doesn't go past. There's not a deal for you, right? Because something can happen to someone else that's their worst day can be your best day, right? And unfortunately, that does happen, right? You went through a divorce. Someone took advantage of that situation, right? Because he had to sell, right? So, not picking on you, but just stating it happens, right? And so there's a death, right? Someone, grandmother passed away and left them. They're in Texas. They don't have a plan coming back. They just want to get rid of it. That's an opportunity for someone, right? That wasn't there yesterday, that is there today. Financing is the gateway, which is time to speak on. My client, we'll get into it, but he started off with FHA 203K loan. It was horrible, the process and everything we went through. Well, while he was doing it, he filled out a way to get down payment assistance. And I didn't know at the time because he was trying to get FHA 203K loan, he couldn't access it. And so soon he changed to a conventional loan. He was able to get a $10,000 down payment. And so that's what ended up happening why he didn't have to bring any money to the table. So house hacking will always bring the lower barrier. So as much as you possibly can, do it. I know obviously when you get a family and everything else, it changes, but house hacking, I know that's how Ryan started.
It's a great strategy, folks. Less than 10 years, financially free. I mean, I did what, 3 or 4 or something like that, but like it doesn't take that many. You'd be shocked. It does take some time and planning and all that, but like, yeah, way lower down payments, lower rate. Like, if you can just delay gratification a little bit, and if you're not with children or whatever, like, just do it. You got to just do it. So,
yeah, and again, like, I think the whole thing of like using that equity and stuff like that, right? Or using cash and scaling, right? He did this all less than 10 years. He could have taken 20, right?
I thought I was gonna take that, but you're just like, okay, this is ready to rock. Let's pull it,
And then he started talking, right? He did syndication before he realized he was doing syndication, right? And that's how it happens. And I think, again, that's another fear that I think people have. I've realized that a lot of people have read so many books, and in those books, they make it come off like they did it all by themselves.
Mm-hmm. Never did that. But who's your first partner? The banks.
The bank, yep. And so that's how people think. And it's like, it's OPM. So it's either their money, and then it's someone else, and then like
or grandpa's or something. Yep. But that's rare. I mean, if you're really lucky, sure, but like your partner probably will be the bank for the first one or several. Like, and that's great though.
Up to 10 finance partners, according to Fannie and Freddie.
And then
11.
Mohammed just completed a program that I was part of, which is ACRE, and one of the main things they teach in there is capital stack. I had no idea what that was until I got into this program, and they talked about developments, and they were like, all right, you're going to get money from the bank, but then you're still short. So you need money from investors. You're still short. Oh, did you know their philanthropists will give you money because you're building an apartment building in a lower income area? Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, you can go get a TIC. What is a TIC? It's a taxable incentive. What is that? I forget the C. TIF and TIC. There's a TIF and TIC. Well, there's tax incentives for the government to say, oh, you're going to build in this area. We will forego the taxes that we will get from you so you can use that to go sell that to more investors. Like, what are you talking about? But that's capital stack, so you can put all that money together to do this thing, right? And that's all this is, guys.
That's the front side too. The back side, like cash out refi, tax free, like they want us to do what we're doing and do it fast. Yep. So there's so many incentives for you to do that, but you just actually have to take advantage.
Well, and you have to qualify too.
Sure, but I mean, like, it's out there, and like, again, they want investors to provide housing and do good at that, and like, you can make money off that.
I'm just a big proponent. Like, there's 3 ways you can access your equity. You either sell it, you do a cash out refi, or do a HELOC, and the other 2 are tax free.
And you can only do a HELOC on an owner occupied.
Yeah. So this is perfect, right? Because the lender is your strategic partner.
We want to do a quick break.
Yeah, we can do a break, and then we'll come back, and then
5 minutes bathroom break,
let
whatever.
Tabitha speak, and then we'll ask her some questions and let her go at it. Do you have a thing you want to do?
No.
Just do
Well,
your spiel.
what thing you want to do? Like, what do you mean?
No, like
I don't
you
have a
present-
presentation or anything. I'm
Then we'll
just
just let you speak,
free flowing
and
here.
then I will take this off.
Okay.
I went to the bathroom like a minute.
No.
So what's your next play this year then?
I mean, still looking to do a burr.
Yourself or Ben or?
Ben, I don't think is in a position to right now. I actually was just talking with my brother.
No worries.
I've honestly been pushing him into real estate because he, I feel like financially he isn't in as good of a spot as he should be. But I feel like if we partnered, we could get a property together and we can sort of ramp up his finances a little bit. And then I actually just had a friend reach out and be like, him and my one friend who just was my client were talking about the deal he just did through me. in front of our other friend, and that friend was like,
There you go.
you know, if you're ever looking to do another deal, like I'd be willing to go in on one. So I was like, all right. So
Make a
we'll
note
see.
of that.
Yeah. We'll see what happens, but definitely want to do a BRRRR, just because my last couple deals weren't, and I'm like, man, this is
You got solid renters now at least, or what?
yeah. All of my places are
Okay.
solidly rented right now, pretty stable. Haven't had a lot of issues or things to repair.
So what, you think you'll get a building this year? And what do you?
That's
think
the
you buy
goal.
A BRRRR, what are you looking at, a duplex, 4-unit, what are you?
Honestly, right now I'm sort of open. I'd probably target duplex.
But you think your brother would live in it, huh?
No.
You don't
He's in
know.
Colorado.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So he'd just
he'd just be adding some of the funds. But yeah, I would even consider a single family, but that's not my target.
Yeah.
I think right now my biggest target is that I get most of my investment back so that I can keep scaling.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Um,
So whatever property makes that
yeah,
the most possible.
right.
All right, guys. It was nice to meet you all. I'll see you guys next week. Right?
Next
Right.
week.
Next month.
Meet you.
Next, oh, we meet once a
Next
month?
monthly.
Once a month.
Oh, that
We-
worked perfect.
Hey,
we do
I would
have-
do it.
I would say we do, if you, I don't know if you're on the Facebook page, but we do have other events that like aren't the monthly, like
Perfect.
meet up at a bar, stuff like that.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
All right,
Catch
guys.
you there.
Yeah, thanks. Nice
Yeah,
to
man.
meet you guys.
Coming out that way or this way?
No, I'm just gonna throw out my plate, clean up after myself. Perfect.
Yeah, nice
Shut
to
your
meet
message. Right.
Nice
Nice to meet you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for sharing.
See you guys.
Yeah,
Have a
Carl,
good one.
keep in touch.
I'll talk to you soon, man.
Yeah.
Tell us about yourself.
Well, I have been in banking since I was 2. So 20 years, all in all. I've done all the different things within banking, all within mortgage lending. So mortgage lending is all I know. I am completely in love with helping people build generational wealth, and that's my goal. I wasn't handed the silver platter. And so I want to make sure that I leave something behind for my children and for me in this country. Real estate is where it's at. And love talking to people like you that are trying to think outside the box, right? How to get things done. So I have been at Huntington for the last 6 years. I love working at Huntington because we have all the programs. So we are direct underwriters for both Fannie and Freddie. We also are a direct underwriter for WIDA. But we also have amazing portfolio loans, which is actually what Jamal ended up using. And our portfolio loans for me is kind of what separates us from other banks. Most of our portfolio loans are strategic, right? And depending on what the appetite of the bank is at the moment in time, the loan that Jamal utilized is for first-time home buyers. So I don't know if any of you are you're technically a first-time home buyer. Yeah. So 3% down payment for both single family and duplex. That's how come that deal works so well. But also there's no private mortgage insurance, which is amazing. But like I said, we have all the programs, and that's, what I enjoy because I can give people choices, right? I can say, okay, look, if you go this route, this is what we can do. If you go this route, this is what we can do. Here's the pros and cons. And then that way, I give you numbers and you tell me what to do, which is, really kind of nice. I feel like we are the best when it comes to closing cost reduction. We reduce our closing costs for any deal. So it could be a purchase, it could be a refinance, it could be primary or investment, as long as the property that you're purchasing is in the lower moderate census tract. So that's the majority of Milwaukee, Racine, Kenosha. If you're wondering in your head, does this property fit? I can definitely plug up and we can, shoot around a few addresses and see if they are or aren't. I can give you those tools to look it up. But so say for example, you're doing a refinance, a cash out refinance on one of your investment properties, irregardless of whatever program we use, any of them that we named. So Freddie, Fannie, Portfolio, or WIDA. If the subject property is in a lower moderate census tract, you only pay $500 in closing costs, which is part of what worked with Jamal as well. So that's a lender credit in Wisconsin is roughly about $3,000 to $3,600, depending if it's a single family or a multi-unit, because appraisal costs go higher if it's a multi-unit. And so that, along with his first-time homebuyer grant that he received for $8,000, together he walked away with immediate free money, no retention agreement, literally could sell the house the next day and he would get that money back. But I'm not telling you that. So for me, being able to help everybody, regardless of their income, is really important, because most banks I've worked at, and I've worked at most of them, most banks, in order for you to get assistance, you need to be lower moderate income borrower, right? The way that we assist in the closing cost reduction is dependent on the subject property. So that to me is, really nice. I can help a whole bunch of people only pay $500. I also love the fact that on a purchase transaction, we don't take any application fees. So we don't collect credit report or appraisal fee up front. The only fee that you would pay then is if the loan closes. So if something goes belly up, appraisal comes in low and you can't negotiate or whatever, you are not out that money. The bank takes the risk. So I think that's also, speaks loudly of the fact that we want to help the community, right? It shouldn't be on the borrower to lose out $500, if the appraisal comes in low. So I think that's also very nice. When it comes to credit rating, we are very, very flexible. We do have FHA too, by the way. I know I didn't mention FHA before, but we do also have FHA, and we also are really good at VA. With FHA and VA, any transaction, regardless of where the property is, we reduce our closing cost to $500 as well. So
why would you do FHA if you can do your 3% down anyway? Like, there's more restrictions, so there's no reason to do it then?
No,
really?
The only reason would be
if you can do the 203K or something. Or
yeah, but 203Ks
it's
are
annoying, but I guess
very
They have another program.
So we do
there's
have.
really no reason.
There really isn't. I mean, I honestly, the only reason would be like if you're really cash poor, and the property that you're buying is not in a lower moderate census tract, then you can get the closing cost reduction with FHA
Like,
no matter where you buy.
You guys probably cover the majority of the ones.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay.
So, but to me, honestly, like FHA is the bottom of the tadpole. Like if I can put you in something else,
Yeah, right.
honestly, I would much rather put you in something else long term too. But that being said,
you're gonna pay PMI.
Forever.
Even at a minimum, that's $100
Forever.
difference.
Forever.
Just out of the gate, yeah.
So
You can't
FHA,
refinance out of it?
you have to
You can,
refinance though, right?
That's a whole nother
So you
hurdle,
think about that, right?
All of my loans that had PMI, I've gotten them removed after 20%.
Because they were conventional.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I could have sworn they were FHA, but maybe they were conventional. I just didn't realize.
Yeah, they were probably like a 3% down option, conventional.
Sure.
Because both Fannie and Freddie have Home Possible and Home Ready, and those are both 3% down option for single
Okay.
family. 5% down for duplex
Sure.
as a primary.
Yeah.
And what about for 4 unit?
For 4 unit, so you can do Freddie and Fannie, but the down payment requirement is going to be 25% for investment property.
Even owner occupied.
Well, I meant owner.
Owner occupied, that's where FHA.
But you can't do
Wins.
3.
No, yeah, so no, I meant for owner occupied 4 unit, can you go as low as, I know you can't do 3, can you go as low as 5?
15.
So
15?
duplex is your cutoff though for the
Yeah.
3. Okay.
3 and 4 unit, it's a lower LTV. Yeah.
They changed that, right? Because
Yeah.
because my first one, I bought a 4 unit and all I had was that, but now they changed it. You need 3 months of reserves. Is that it?
Actually, all across the board, reserves are for multi-unit. Yeah. I actually heard that there are some automated underwriting engine results are requiring reserves for single family even now. But it's not in every case. It's just, it depends on the overall file. So
But some
our,
stuff can qualify maybe that you wouldn't consider. I don't know if we all have that, but you know, a spouse's like whatever 403B or maybe a life like a life insurance policy or something like that, cash value, you know, I have 15K cash value life insurance, like you can use that, I'm saying, right?
yes, you can.
Yeah.
And you can use 401k, anything that's an asset account, you can use 75%.
But the point is
As
you just don't have
reserves.
real actual cash, like
No.
you can just kind
You
of
need
have
access to
a
funds.
Correct.
placeholder, yeah.
But you have to have the ability to draw from it. So not all retirement accounts let you
Yeah.
take money out.
Right.
So I'm gonna look up that guideline real quick while we're
For
chatting.
what?
For 4-unit primary.
I think it's only, I was told it was less than 15%. I thought it was like sub 10, maybe 10 at the most, but.
I'm gonna look while I'm chatting. I can
What
multitask.
bank are you in?
I'm in Huntington. Yes.
What do you see in terms of cap rates for different neighborhoods in Milwaukee? Like for what investors try to get? Like do you look at those like when you're?
I honestly don't.
Like I said, I don't think lenders
I
would
really
generally look
honestly
at the
don't.
cap rate.
It's more
Yeah,
us.
it's more like realtor.
Us
Yeah.
or commercial. Like cap rates are weird because technically mostly commercial brokers use it. And then because you listen to Bigger Pockets, they bring that term in there. But
Mhm.
most people that deal with 1 to 4 families, they don't really use it as much because you're normally using a cap rate to compare things that you can't normally compare. So if I'm looking at a 10 unit and most things around is a 6 and 8 unit, that's when cap rates come into play because now I can compare them against all those. And then I would say most in our neighborhoods is 7%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 is low.
Yeah, high 6, 7. Downtown Milwaukee, you're probably getting near 5 maybe, but
But
most.
that's like exactly the question that I was asking myself, you know, ad nauseum when I did my latest cash out refi, just projection. Like I knew I'd do okay, but it's like, what am I gonna get? Is this, you know, 0.5% higher or lower than this? And that's a, you know, spread of whatever, $50,000 or whatever maybe, right? But you're just kind of guessing, kind of somewhat at some point, right? The appraiser is gonna pick what the market cap rate, and it's kind of like you're at their behest, but kind of you get a middle of the road, like what I think this might be, and then do I want to play, you know, with what I think might come out of that. And you don't have to, you just get your appraisal and either go or not, right? But
and you can fight it.
yeah,
You can, I mean.
I've
you
won
can
it a couple
fight
times.
But appraisers don't like
They don't like it.
acknowledging that they're wrong, in my experience. So,
I'm on the weird side. I feel like the properties I deal with always appraise at value or higher, but
Yeah.
like some of the properties we're talking about are maybe not always that way, but like
Our deal, we had
Right,
to
so
offer
like-
at 150.
yeah.
We're back at 132.
that's what I'm
Right.
saying. You're so on the margin, like.
But then you looked at comps and you were
Yep.
like, comps are
Yep.
close to
Wait,
132.
you
So,
fought that to do
Well,
no, we
see,
thought
it was
about
weird
it.
because I
We
was
thought about
I was
it.
the listing and selling
Yeah.
agent. But I was honest. I was like, hey, I know you're gonna want to fight this. This is the problem where I say with investors, you're either a real estate investor or you're an investor who invests in real estate. And that's what she was. She was an investor who invested in real estate, and she felt like it was worth 150. She didn't look at anything, but she also felt like, well, the rents that I'm getting, it should be worth this. But it's like, regardless of, you could be renting your stuff out for $1,200, but if you're in a neighborhood where everything is just
Yeah.
$150,000, that's just what it is. And that's what happened with her. She was renting one out for, I think it was $1,100, and then the other one for $9. So if you do the 1% rule, that's 200,000, 132.
Yeah.
So is that just, she was just getting above market rents?
No, I was, cause it was a 3 and 2, right? 3 and 2.
I don't know. I don't look at
I
that.
think it was a 3 and 2. So the lower was getting 11, the upper was getting 9. I would say that is, in the neighborhood they bought it, I think that was probably almost
Pretty fair.
at high.
So that was just a lot of
Well-
maintenance costs and upkeep and capital.
I would say, cause he did the 203K initially, I think they had it at it would have been appraised at 155 if these things were fixed. So I
Like
think
the
that
after
also,
rehab value.
yeah, the after rehab value, I think it would have taken into play, but because he wasn't doing that now, they were taking it as is.
Well, and duplexes can be weird because they're one of the easier ones to do both calculations on. You can do the cap rate because it's a multifamily, or you could just do comparables because there's enough duplexes around that you can just look at other duplexes. And so you've got like competing ideas of what the value is. Because I've seen that many times where, like, especially as an agent, every once in a while we get like the pocket listings where someone's like, hey, anyone got an interest in this? What do you think of this price? And you look, you're like, the comps say it's 450, but the rents say it's 290. And so it's like those, the seller's gonna say, well, I want the 400 plus. And the buyers are all gonna say, well, I
That's
only
what I'm
want to
saying,
pay
it can only
290.
be, they either have to put a lot of capital in, right? And the house needs more rehab, so that's why it's below the comp, or they don't think their earnings are reliable, like their renters, if they leave, might not be able to rent at that same. Otherwise, if
But-
you have reliable cash flow and strong, then you're gonna rent, then it should be kind of close.
But in
Sort of,
Jamel's case though, it came as is.
Mhm.
So the appraisal was as is 132 and the rent matched what the rental was currently.
Are you guys taking 75% of
We do.
rentals? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any scenario you take higher for
No.
some reason? No. Is there any bank you know of that takes higher than 75? Okay, I assume, yeah, I haven't heard that either.
No.
And
Just curious, you gotta ask.
if I knew, I
That's a
wouldn't
huge
find out.
swing. If you
Yeah.
had this thing, 75 to 80. That's
So-
massive.
I double checked that guideline. My apologies, because I would think I was thinking investment,
Yeah, it's like 5%.
5%.
Yeah, that's different.
For a
And,
4-unit, Freddie and Fannie.
Yep.
Yeah. 5%.
and just to piggyback on ourselves, and this is my argument, you do have a lot of agents that, because they do comparables for everything else, they end up doing it for investment properties. And us investors will never look at it like that. So like I always use the example of, if I have a duplex, 2 duplexes, they're both 2,000 square feet. One is giving me 1,000 cash flow and the other is 2,000. A regular real estate agent is going to say they're the same property. And as an investor, I will never look at it and think that, right? Because one is renting at 2,000, the other one's renting at 1,000. I know something's wrong with the 1,000 one, and I need to do something to make it worth what this other one is doing. So that means I got to add some value to it, so it can't be worth the same. So you're always going to run into that issue, because as an investor, I'm going to be like, well, I got to put 30,000 into this $1,000 one to make it start renting out at 2,000. So it can't be sold at 200,000 each, right? Because value wise, my numbers won't let me buy it at that. If I run my numbers and say, I got to add $30,000 to this property, get it the same. So why would I buy this duplex that's giving me 1,000 at 200,000 when I got to put 30,000 in it to start making it rent for 200? I mean, $2,000 is going to be worth more than this one, and they're the same, right? So you're always going to run into that situation when you're dealing with duplexes, because you're going to have those agents that is just going to cookie cutter.
Well, and you do run into, with duplexes, you're more likely to have the house hackers that are like not normal investors, but they're like, hey, I can get this and save some money and stuff.
Yeah.
And house hackers are way more willing to overpay what a regular investor would pay.
Yeah.
Are you
That's
looking
fair.
ahead already with your lending? Like, how do people exit or refinance with you then? Like, what are your products you have, or what do you like kind of nudge people towards?
Yeah, I mean, because for example, if somebody is buying a 4-unit, and they would benefit from utilizing FHA, then I'm always going to talk to them about, look, when you're 15% equity in and you're ready to refinance conventional, right? Then we can do that and save money. And, you know, maybe if you're at 20%, even save on PMI, right? Save on rate. Let's up your credit score. Let's, you know, do the things that you need to do to then be a conventional buyer, right?
That's what I'm saying. Are you obviously, you know, getting people in with whatever product they need? Maybe it is low down payment, but are you
Right.
saying, hey, a year or
Yeah.
maybe it's 2 years later based on appreciation and whatever principal pay down, but like, here's the strategy, then you exit with this 75% LTV, and is that the maximum you could do, or 80, or?
On the cash out
Yeah.
for multi-unit.
Yeah, So they know that, and then is that within a year they can do, or it has to be a year plus tax returns type of thing, or?
No, that's a good question. So Freddie, Fannie, and FHA, if you're talking about rental analysis to qualify,
Yeah.
it's treated differently across the board. But if you're a new landlord and you have no experience, then we're always gonna go by the appraisal's income operating statement.
So how, I think also what he's asking is, I just bought, do you follow when like, hey, I know in 12 months you can refinance? out of this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh,
Like how
absolutely,
many?
yes.
See, and I think sometimes
Yeah.
again, if you're not having those initial conversations, like some lenders will just be like, hey, you're FHA.
I mean, I wasn't early on. I mean, I like understood, I guess inherently you had to, but it's not like I was talking about that my first deal or two. It's like, I just am happy to get this deal, but it's
Totally.
like, no, what's the strategy? Because the deal is only so important. How do I get out of this? How do I get my
Completely.
money back?
Yeah, no,
It's like,
completely. And I think
No.
that's important too. Because I know this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about all this stuff all the time.
mm,
But if the client is not asking, it's my job to be like, hey, just so you know, right, this is what it could look in the future.
right. Well,
Like
you're-
Tashana, for example, it's a great example. Her mom came with to the appointment. And when I was done talking to Tashana, who's really my referral, my client, the mom was like, okay, let's put my baby aside. Where have you been all my life? Because nobody's ever talked to me about, you can do this or you can. What I talked about the different channels earlier, right? Like, look, I can look at your one credit report poll. And it's kind of like a broker, but I'm not a broker. I'm a bank, and I'm not charging you broker fees. If anything, I'm reducing fees. So it's, kind of thinking about all the different ways that you can look at this thing, right? And then, but you got to tell me then what works for you, right? Because I can't tell you what to do. I can kind of show you, these are, the strategies that you can think about. But ultimately, where you're going and what your plan is.
And so that's part of the reason, like with the A, you kind of have to have a strategy when you first looking at the property so you can have these conversations, and not to, toot me and Self's horn. That's why you got to find an agent, because like all the stuff we're talking about equity, you need to have these conversations up front. Like you should know your exit strategy at the beginning. Like I like Ryan, because Ryan's always speaking on like, I'm holding this forever, but I'm going to refinance 3 times, right? My mortgage is going to be a 35-year mortgage. And you're like, well, there's only 30. He already knows I'm going to refinance twice.
At least once.
At least once, if not twice, right? And you have to think like that. And I guess that's part of the reason why I speak on like that about equities, because the only reason why you should let it sit there is that if you're finna live in that house for your rest of life and you're not finna do anything, right? That's the only thing I think why equity should sit there, because that is your bank. But if you're trying to build a portfolio, that's just cash you just got sitting there that is going to help you scale. So like, to me, it's a disservice to you trying to build a portfolio. If you're not trying to build a portfolio, let that sit.
Yeah. Yep. So we talked about home equities. We do great at, we call it PCLs, personal credit lines. I don't know why we do that. But if your credit score is really high and you make more than $7,000 per month, we actually have an unsecured.
Ooh, I didn't talk to you. Talk to you.
So, but you need you need like a 770
That's fine.
credit.
Easy.
That's no problem.
But they do, it's a primary.
Per
Your
cap.
primary. Your primary. So, but yeah, we do really, really well at PCL.
Does everybody know unsecured versus secured? We all know that, what that means, why
So secured would be,
interested
so
in
we do that as well. We do a secured PCL too. The rate is gonna be better because we're taking your house as collateral. But the unsecured, basically, it doesn't attach a lien on your home. So, and it's for single
So like,
family.
where are those
duplex.
rates compared to like HELOC?
They're higher rates.
Yeah, we definitely got
Probably like a 2% difference.
That's why I brought her.
Primary. No, you're still single. You're still single digits. Yeah.
Is there a promotional period or no?
So it's like any other HELOC, so it's interest only for the draw period.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for the secured one, can you do that on an investment property?
No,
No,
only
never does
all home equities are only
Okay.
primary. So for investment properties, you're really looking at a cash out refinance.
that. Okay, so there's no way really, because basically I've been stuck with this 3% loan that I'm like, I have so much equity, but I don't want to lose that. And I still have like 15 years on the mortgage, and just trying to find some way to access that equity without losing that 3%.
Not an investment property.
Don't
Sorry,
lose it.
sorry.
But
I
see,
know
then-
it hurts. I
Yeah.
know
But
it
then the
hurts.
question is always, what are you finna buy, right? Because if you finna buy something
Yeah.
that's
That's
gonna
gonna
give
make
you
you
10% return
more.
and you're refinancing
Yeah.
at 5,
Yeah. Well, you're not refinancing at 5.
well, I'm.
Just to be fair.
Yeah.
6 or 7, right?
7.
Probably 7.25. Like 2 years.
So
How does it work like after this started transpired? But like I had a duplex primary residence that we were in for a while.
Okay.
We had a HELOC on it.
Yep.
And then we had since left and it was still open because
Yep.
it's not like they knew.
Right.
I never tapped it or anything, but like it was
Still
just
there.
sitting there. Like, what's
still
the deal with
there.
that? Like, it's fine.
Still there.
You could use it.
Yeah, as long as you're within your draw period. So different banks have different parameters, but you usually have like an initial period that you can draw from it. And then
Usually
it's
5,
like 10, it's like 5-10 years, ours is 10.
I see.
I was gonna say my
Yeah.
HELOC's a 5-year.
I mean, they just now closed because we closed the refi and everything, but it was open for like a year or so, you know.
Yeah, you could have used it.
We didn't need to, thankfully, but I was just curious more like
Yeah,
what happens
Yep.
with that.
yep. So I was actually talking about credit scores because I think it's important. A lot of people are like, I can't get into an investment property like a duplex because my credit is
Mhm.
really low. Well, that's FHA too, to answer your question. But then, of course, you wouldn't qualify for conventional if you're in the 580 range. But FHA, our minimum credit rating, we don't have an overlay. So our minimum credit score is 580. But we also have a portfolio loan that's conventional, that's a 580 credit score, no PMI, 3% down, but the interest rate is higher. So we just, at that point, that's what I'm talking about. Like we put them side to side. Like Jamel, it made sense for him to go conventional because with conventional, he was able to tap into his down payment assistance, right? Which he would have missed out on if he was doing that crazy 203K, which also, so we have awesome renovation loans. It's not a 203K, but it functions the same as a 203K. However, there's no scope writer. So you don't have to pay their fees and all the crazy stuff. You can work directly with a general contractor or several contractors. You cannot do any of the work though. But it's called home style renovation and it's a Fannie Mae product. So it's a conventional loan. And
Can you loop that into the original loan when you close on the property?
it can be a purchase acquisition.
So it's like a hard money.
Yeah.
But it all has to be done through contractors, so.
Okay.
So that's you can't do any of the work at all, or you can't
At all.
you can't get paid for the work.
At all.
Okay. So your hands, it's just like it's just like, yeah, it's just like the IRA lending where you have to.
The bank, I mean, once you're done and you close and all your escrows are paid out and then you start to do work, okay, you know. Also, our first time home buyer program, the one that Jamel used, if the property appraisal comes in subject to completion, you can literally straight up give me one bid and I can add it on to the loan up to $100,000.
Nice.
So that's a nice feature too. Because a lot of times these, properties need, a roof or something, and you don't want to be forced into like a home style renovation. If you don't want to go that route, you just want a quick, let me just get this roof done. We got the product for that.
So for a first time home buyer, what does that entail?
For a first time home buyer,
Someone like my wife, so all of our properties are just in my name.
is she on title?
No.
So you took
She's
all your
on-
properties as fee simple.
What do you mean by that?
So you're married.
Right.
Did you acquire these properties within the marriage?
One of them.
And that
One or two of them.
purchase.
Yeah.
What did you take title as a married man or as fee simple?
I don't know.
You have to figure that out.
Okay.
Because if she's
I would
on
guess
title,
likely married. You can't really fit it, can you? I mean, once
no,
you're
but you
married,
you can keep,
You
well,
could be in an LLC, but not.
within the
Otherwise-
marriage, it's Wisconsin, it's marital state.
Right. So if we were married, then she wouldn't be eligible
She's
for?
if she has interest rights to a property,
Okay,
she's no longer a first time home buyer.
gotcha.
So he's a first time home buyer because he's sold, and now it's been more than 3 years. He hasn't had any property title to his name.
Okay.
Now he's a first time home buyer.
So if
That's
you
why
Well, I
people
wouldn't
say
say
you
any
buy a
property. I
bunch of
wouldn't say
properties
no
before you
property,
get married.
And then you never add wife to title, and then she's always a first time home buyer.
Right. Well, the one time.
Yeah.
Not always.
Well, the one time. Fair.
Right.
So I feel like I talked about credit scores, first time home buyer products, multi-unit purchases, our closing cost reduction. I mean, I do it all the time. People tap out the equity, they utilize that equity, they put it as down payment for the next property. You're gonna obviously get the best bang for your buck if you're doing it as a primary. You all know that. If you're doing it as an investment, then you're stuck with, utilizing Freddie and Fannie. Most portfolio products are geared towards primary.
Yeah.
So.
And the
The
whole
money's
buying
just-
it under your name and then a year later
It's never
claiming
cheaper.
it to an
You just-
LLC, you guys are fine with that, or?
Yeah, and we actually will make an exception, one property titled to an LLC under our portfolio lending.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, but that's just one. I don't know why. They want to do it just once. They don't want to do it multiple. I don't know. But
So in that situation, would I just refinance with somewhere else because I want to put in my LLC now after that period?
yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, because it's still your one and only. Because when you refinance it, we're going to pay off that loan,
Sure.
and then you're taking on a new loan, and it's still going to be your one.
So if I buy one, 12 months later, I want to quit claim deed it to my LLC,
And then refinance it.
And a
refinance
year
it.
later.
Then you're okay.
Okay.
Yep. Mhm. Yep. So we'll make an exception for that.
But
We're
just
pretty
once,
good
you're
about
saying.
just once.
Right.
Yeah, we're pretty good about thinking through exceptions,
So
especially
then, if you wanted to refinance it and it's in an LLC, then you'd have to claim it back to my name?
if it's more than one
If it's-
in
right,
within
yeah,
our
right,
portfolio.
yeah.
Yes. Mhm. Yep. Yeah, we'll make exceptions like mixed use properties. We'll make exceptions on sometimes. I mean, I didn't hear any of you talk about mixed use properties.
Right.
We have an awesome, you talked about self-employment income. A lot of lenders really mess that up. So I have a direct channel to my underwriters, which is pretty neat. So like every Wednesday, like this morning, I had my head underwriter on Teams, and we were going over deals and income scenarios and stuff like that. So they make sure that we're really thorough up front and we're not, taking you through the ringer to then find out that you're not eligible.
So will you guys consider, less than 2 years self-employment type thing, or?
Not typically. I mean, I guess it depends if you're like right there, if you've got 1 year file tax return and, everything else is pretty good, we can definitely request an underwriter's
Case by case, yeah.
exception. Yeah. Like I said, we're pretty good at that. And I mean, they want to lend, right? So if it makes sense,
Yeah, exactly.
they're going to think about
Okay,
it.
So that is really the ultimate statement of anything, lending, underwriting, appraising, like what insurance, like these people want to get the business ideally, right?
Yeah.
Like more often that they want to tell you yes. So
Yeah.
like
Right.
if I
We
gotta
wanna-
know,
we wanna
there's
write
like a
it.
good reason probably that happened.
Yeah.
Like it should have been a yes. What went wrong here, I guess. Like you really can get a lot done just knowing that simple thing. Everybody wants to
Totally.
transact. Like,
Well, and I'll tell you that at no bank I've ever worked at, we had this, which is, so when I submit a loan, my underwriter looks at it, right? Well, believe it or not, they do not have authority to deny my loan.
Mhm.
They actually have to send it to a second level review team. And second level review, the manager is who I have a direct channel to, and she will look at any income, any deal, and try to twist that sucker around because she wants to make it
So you
work.
want to prove the first guy's wrong, huh?
But she loves that. She absolutely, we all love that. So anyways, the initial underwriter doesn't have authority. I mean, and you guys know that, right? Like there has to be 2 signatures on a denial for fair lending purposes. So we actually have a whole department that's our second level review. We have a client, clients are hard to get, right? Like, that's why I'm here talking to y'all, like, out there trying to get people to come and transact with us. And so, if we have an interested party, they don't want just, one person to be like, no, I don't like this deal, so they have Lori and her entire team that's trying to flip that around. And they'll even think about other programs. They'll think about underwriting exceptions. They'll think about, what could we do to make the deal work, which is called a counteroffer. And I see that happen, I can tell you, since I just looked it up, because I had my first denial and it was horrible because I was like, oh my gosh, this doesn't happen to us. And I got into a little with the agent. It was a whole thing. But I looked it up because I was like, I don't remember the last time I had a true denial, right? Like, we couldn't write the loan. The last one was in March of 2023. So that tells you, like, statistically, we don't, we are very thorough up front. If we say no, we're going to tell you why. And we're also going to be there to help you figure it out so that you can come back and qualify. And we have systems in place to make sure that income is being looked at correctly before that application is put into the system. Because ultimately, that's a waste of everybody's time, right? Like, I got a processor that's got to verify everything. I got an underwriter. I got a second review team. Of course, my time and your time, we don't want to put and see, throw it up and see if it sticks.
Sound
That's
like
not
the
our
DA.
style.
So the DA, you close 99% of your cases.
That's my question is, like, how do you maybe decide or tell if some perspective, whatever, is serious or like worth your time? It sounds like you'd give anybody the time of day, which is great for you, but like, there's tire kickers. But how do you tell up front, like, oh, this person, like, is hungry, serious, knows what they're talking about, type of thing? Like, what stands out to you?
Well, I think obviously if they give me complete documentation, if I'm telling
How often
you,
is that happening, like, out of the gate? Like, not at all, or half the time?
I'm going to be quite honest with you. You send me a referral, I reach out to them, I tell them what I need. If they don't get it to me, I'm not going to chase it.
Yeah.
So if you're giving me documentation, you're serious. I might follow up on it once or twice. I followed up on Tanisha because we
I
had
had
a
a client
connection.
who just did that.
But,
it was like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, and it's like, like, why are you not, like, you just came in and put your time in, right? We discussed all this shit, and now you're like not giving me what I need. Like, I can't qualify you, out of magic. Like, I need to see your stuff. So I think that's number one. Number two, though, I feel like the 3 C's is kind of like the big kind of driver, right? So you have to have credit, you have to have collateral, and then you have to have, well, the ability to repay, right? So within credit, so the way I think about it is, like, there might be somebody that's like credit poor, but then you can't be cash poor too. Like, you have to have things, right, for me to be able to make a case. And so if you have a lot of cash, but you have low credit score, we might be able to make that happen. Or in the opposite, if you're a really high credit score borrower, but you're cash poor, we have products for that too. So I feel like you can't come and be like, I'm trying to buy a house. I have no money, I have no credit, and I have no job. What are we gonna do with that, right? So I feel like, you can kind of tell up front. And I'll also straight up tell people, like, what, this is not a race. Look, you're trying to buy a house, work on your credit, or work on saving more, or, work on getting a job. And then we can come back to the drawing board and, figure out how we can help you.
6 months is not a long time to change things up, but people won't do it. But 6 months is nothing.
And I feel like, this actually did it to us.
Yeah.
Because we want immediate gratification. Like, I want to buy a house and I want to buy it now. And that's not the way it works. I mean, you're going into $200,000, $300,000 worth of a 30-year commitment.
You want people like you in some fashion to be hard on people and tell them no, because otherwise we end up where we were, 14 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, the
like
years were like,
2008.
we were just talking about it, like the Ninas and the Ninjas and the
Yeah.
Sisas. Like, what were we doing? You want to buy $1 million house? Oh, let's just make 50 G's a month. Done. You get the house. Well, of course, that's a recipe for disaster.
Exactly, right.
So,
But that's where it's like, if you're getting the green light, like that's actually, I mean, it's obvious, but that's a great signal. If you're getting resistance and like people ain't calling you back, like you probably don't have your stuff together.
well, you're not ready, and I'm not ready to help you either, because I got a line of people that are waiting for my call.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, you know, the reality of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah.
How do you
So
guys deal with competitor mortgage rates?
we will match
Okay.
all day,
Mm.
but I need to see a loan estimate.
None of these are like prepayment penalty loans, nothing
None of
like
them.
that, huh?
No,
No
we don't.
arms, no.
We have arms, so
What's
if that's what you're looking for, yes.
What terms for arms? What? 5, 7,
We
3,
have
what?
we have a 3, we have a 5, we have a 7, and we have a 10.
Oh shoot! Okay,
Yeah.
wow, that's a spread. What's
Yeah.
like your 3 and 10 rate roughly? Just roughly ballpark.
Like
You
7,
don't want to
7
ask
and a
that
half.
this week. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's right in line. That's the thing. I don't really care. I was just curious because I bought like a ton of my stuff on arms early, and then I just refinanced out of them now to long-term financing. But
Mhm.
Well, so
I mean,
if
it
you're
was
gonna
someone-
refinance anyways, then like.
well,
is there
someone didn't
any
sit down,
risk
so I
to
didn't
it?
really know. But I kind of had a plan. It's like I'm not gonna just sit on it. I want to get money out. So the arm was lower rate at the
Yeah.
time, lower sometimes down payment too, even
Mhm.
as an investor, not as an owner occupied. That's
Mhm.
why I did them, right? So you're getting both like facets of it. Even if you save 5% and 5% down and 1% on the rate, like that's huge to me.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get that money back next year or 2 years later or whatever. It's like,
Sure.
that's all we're talking about. Like short term, like risk on an arm loan. Yeah, okay, it's gonna balloon. I don't give a shit. Like I'm getting out of this, you know. Like this is short term to me. So yeah.
Well, it wouldn't balloon. So we don't write
No.
balloon loans. I don't think anybody does anymore. I
No,
wonder
but
if
it would
that's
just
even
the
QM.
1%.
But-
But the arm would come
But
to
now it would
whatever the
come
new
to
rate.
whatever, yeah, and you guys
8%,
know
whatever, yeah.
now it's based
And I
on
guess I'm talking
SOFR.
about my commercial
So-
Based on what?
SOFR is the indicator rate for arms, and they adjust now every 6 months.
Hmm.
So it's like a 3.6, it's fixed for 3 years, and then every 6 months after that, depending on what SOFR is doing at that moment, your rate can go up or it can go lower, but there's a cap and a floor. So
Yes,
that's all
right.
disclosed to you up front.
A lot of them say 1 year still, for like a 5-1.
911 still. but
They
I
used,
guess-
so
Well,
they,
not like,
they
so
used
the
to be-
primary that we're buying,
Yeah.
we got a 5-1.
oh, okay, that's interesting. That must be a portfolio.
Hmm.
Yeah. 'Cause-
I never heard of the 6, but that's frightening. It's
Right.
fine. It's just
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah. I thought the year thing was like just categorical and fixed, but clearly not. They got to get that twice a year. I love it.
I'm not in risk.
I'm
Otherwise,
not blaming you. I'm
they would
just
be,
reacting to
they would
new
not be doing very
information.
be like, yes, everybody approve them.
Yeah.
That's okay, they're nice.
Slight tangent. We didn't hear from you.
They
It's
got me
Tim,
their
right?
documents.
What are you pursuing? Where you at? What do you tell us about yourself? You kind of came in a little late, so we didn't
Yeah,
hear.
no, just looking to get into real estate and
So you're not in.
no.
Okay. But you know some stuff clearly.
Well, I work in private equity, but
Okay.
I invest in like businesses, so I don't have any exposure to real. I mean, I studied real estate actually.
At arm's length, yeah.
Like I studied real estate in college, but I didn't go into it.
So why do you want to get into it then?
Yeah, I feel like it's like now that I'm getting older and I've progressed in my career, I have more capital, and I would like to stick it.
Okay. Do you know, I guess, are they already, do you have a strategy? What are you looking to get into? Or from hearing this, do you have an idea maybe? Or
Yeah, I mean, I would like my first one because it's owner occupied to just go. Ideally, a 4-unit.
where at?
And at first, I was like,
You're single?
Yeah, at first I was looking more neighborhoods, and then I realized it probably actually makes, if you run the numbers, it probably makes for, because your first one you're going to be owner occupied. After that, it probably wouldn't want to do that anymore. To just lever it up as much as possible and buy the highest, because then you can cash out. Like hopefully, then the rents will
The highest value, you're saying?
Yes, for a
See,
4-unit with
okay.
strong
You're
rents.
talking my strategy now. I don't know if you always get
With,
the-
I mean, the math has to math out. Like, don't just buy the highest one with shitty rent rolls.
no, but
then-
what you're saying is like to me true, but it's like, okay, I'm gonna get that. I have to live there. It has to be, you know, whatever acceptable and nice. But whatever a 1% or 10% change on that, whatever a 500K property versus a 250K property, that change is bigger on a larger property. So like that's always kind of where I ended up, somewhat by happenstance, but buying in nicer areas, the jump is bigger, and your benefit from like, well, inflation or on the other
that's
side of us,
exactly
appreciation is bigger.
that's
So
why
it's
I
like,
want to do that.
yeah, I mean, everybody has their own strategy, but that's kind of where I ended up. It worked out okay, at least for the first one. I don't think you can go too wrong. And yeah, it's like, to me, you do buy the highest value thing because the money's never as cheap as that. To
You're
me,
never gonna get. I'm not.
So-
Yeah, unless you live in it. But I don't
You're
want
never
that.
gonna be a first-time home buyer again.
we joke, my wife, not recent, but we used to joke like, oh, we should just get divorced so you can go get another. FHA. Like,
Hey,
you know,
There's strategic medical divorces.
Yeah.
There can be strategic real estate divorces. I'm just saying.
it just is never that cheap again, and it's so like you kind of know it a little bit, just I don't know, superficially starting, but like now several years in, it's like, oh my God, I love to pay 3% versus 25% down or whatever. Like it just,
And of
so
course,
yeah.
used it on $100,000 house.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It was like you could have had $400,000
Yeah, exactly.
side by side,
Yeah.
4-bedroom, 2.5 bath townhouse, and that could have been your starter. Like
Yeah.
whatever, it is what it is. But it just, I don't know. To me, that makes sense anyway.
I think
I agree.
so. Yeah, no, you're right. At first, I saw the reason we met is I was looking at really shitty
Oh,
homes.
okay, you guys know each other.
It was an absolute dump, and
You went and
I've been-
viewed it actually.
I've been
Yes,
doing more.
you gotta
nicer
do
ones.
that. Yeah.
And we got there, and I was like, man.
Yeah. So where are you trying to live? You said roughly.
Like I've been looking a little bit in West Dallas.
Yeah,
and
I would say that's prime.
we saw this one
Little
place.
bit.
It had
Yeah.
holes in the. They had no one.
They're asking $290 for a triplex, but it's an unconventional triplex where they clearly just added
Mm,
a
yeah.
unit on the back of it.
Way more May.
And, like-
I'd
Oh, like a
say, yeah.
mother-in-law?
Not even.
Not even.
It's literally just a separate unit that's like just like
Hodgepodge,
attached
yeah.
onto the
Yes.
back. The floors are
But now you gotta
uneven.
look,
Like
right? You know,
it's
like-
a little messy. And like the elite, we didn't even get to see the third unit, but the second unit, like the bathroom just needs to be completely redone. Like it's
Yeah.
rotting
Appliances are
around the edges. and
old.
stuff. Yeah.
It's weird how the layout is.
Yeah.
And so then you're not going to hit the rent for the local. He's like, well,
Sure.
you can rent it out. I'm like, well, you're seeing
To
empty.
who?
Yeah, you're saying empty for a reason. And so you have one unit rented, so I don't want to hear that you're like, well, the rent in West Dallas is $1,200. I'm like, yeah. If someone came here, it's been open for a year.
All
If someone came here,
projection.
$800, you'd be taking it because your other unit, you're renting it at $800, and you're clearly happy with it because you haven't kicked them out. So,
Because you can't get anybody else.
yes,
there.
exactly.
I do think it would be a decent deal if you can get them to drop like 40,000 off the price, because then you could remodel the units and stuff, make them nice, and you could burn it pretty
Well, he
easily.
bought it 12 months ago, roughly,
Yeah.
for $220,000. He didn't put anything in because I asked him, what did you do? He said, nothing. And then I said, do you have more tenants? Nothing. And so he just thought in 12 months, it went from 220 to 290
Yeah.
with no more tenants, no more increased cash flow.
He's just trying to
Right. Exactly.
Natural
appreciation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So very, very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
25%
Very
appreciation
appreciation.
in
So-
12 months.
As a first-time home buyer, I don't know if, well, in a purchase transaction, when there's multiple units, you can utilize the rental from
Yeah.
those future units to help you qualify for
Yep.
a higher mortgage. So just food for thought.
For second
WIDA, huh?
For your second home? can you-
Sure, if it's a multi-unit,
If someone, okay.
yeah. And when you're vacating, so say you own, because you own a duplex today,
Correct,
okay, and you live in one
correct,
and you're renting the other.
correct.
You're reporting that rent to your taxes.
I will.
Well, you will, right? So then, when you move out of this unit, you can utilize money from it to qualify too.
Mhm.
But you have to have a lease in place.
Okay, so it can't be like theoretical, like since
No.
the top was rented for 1,100,
No.
the bottom will too, okay.
No, you have to have a lease in place
Mhm.
and the security deposit exchanged.
Okay.
So it has to be like a
It has to be fully.
done
rented,
deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then you can use 75% of that to help you offset the PITI for this current property.
Mhm.
So this current property becomes a wash. You can then utilize all of your income to qualify for the next property.
Okay.
Is that only with multifamily?
No, it can be, you can use that, you can use it in a single family.
Because my wife and I were looking at some property options,
come over
and,
here?
like for a primary to move.
Can't see the camera, I can't see you.
Charles, damn it. Go back, Charles. There you go. Get it out.
They
But
got
we
tired.
were trying to buy a new primary, like upgrade a little bit, and we were planning to keep our old one as a rental.
Sure.
But the lender I had talked to was like, you're like just shy on your debt to income. So you're going to have to like rent it for 2 months and show that income before we can take it. But like from what you're saying, it's just a signed lease.
There's a difference.
Oh, okay.
So if you're trying to use positive rental income
Mm-hmm.
above and beyond to cover the PITI and offset it,
Mm-hmm.
then you do have to show that you've actually have a tenant who
Sure.
received rent.
Okay.
But what I'm talking about, it just offsets your PITI. That's it.
It's just bringing your floor lower.
I gotcha. Okay.
Okay. So then it's like if my top unit covers, if my mortgage is 14, top unit covers 11. So therefore they're only going to look at that 300 as what I technically owe on that property. Well, monthly.
75%.
You said,
Yeah, so then you take a lease for your first unit that you're vacating, and then basically that whole 1,400 is washed by your
Okay.
rental income.
okay.
So then all of your income
Mhm.
is utilized for you to purchase your next home.
Okay.
And then if you're buying a multi, say if you're buying a duplex, an owner occupied, another
Mhm.
owner occupied duplex, then that subject property,
Mhm.
75% of the second unit that you don't live in
Mhm.
can actually be positive income.
Okay.
It doesn't offset the PITI. There's difference.
Mhm.
One offsets the PITI, one is positive income.
Okay.
Mathematically, it actually works differently.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, that's interesting because I mean, PITI is essentially part of your debt compared to your income, right? So like it matters whether you're considering it negating your debt or adding to your income.
You get all
Put
of
it on paper, it'll make more sense.
You get all of it from debt relief and 75% of it from income, you're saying? Or
Yeah,
what?
it becomes a wash.
Yeah.
But you get
Yeah.
100% of it as debt relief and 75 as income, or no?
Always 75.
Okay, so that's
So
not the
if he's-
distinction now.
Because it's late.
It's just bringing your
Yeah.
floor down. In
But-
his situation, it's just bringing the floor down, so your percentage isn't working as much. Or in his the percentage is working more because it's just offsetting it.
Well, in he's offsetting his today property.
Yeah, that's what, right.
And then he's using positive rental from the new subject property.
Right.
So he's actually kind of
Doing
combining
both
both.
sides,
Yeah.
Do you have one identified or what?
For-
Next property or
The
what?
fourplex?
Yeah.
No, not yet. So, I do numbers, like I said, I do software development. So right now I have like a spreadsheet where it has all fourplexes, price, square footage, average rent, and then it has zip codes. So therefore I, want to look at them for over probably like a year period of time and see what neighborhood, specifically like what zip code, is going to produce the most rent. And then pick from that list.
Where do you get your data from?
Agents just sending it to me, sending it on the MLS. They'll send me like, hey, like, here's my buy box. I only want to see deals that, of course, that fit this buy box. They send it to me. I look at it, and then I just simply just copy what they put and put it into an Excel sheet.
Oh, okay.
And then, of course, you can build visuals on it. But that's just
Okay, it wasn't like, I didn't know you had a data pool that you were able to look at all the transactions.
Yeah. But you can also go to the Milwaukee County website. It's a massive file, but you can pull that file, and then you can also, me personally, I take it, I put it into like a coding database, and I code off of it. Like, so therefore I pull back what I specifically want to see. Like if I want to see owners of a property who don't have the zip code or who don't have that home address address in Wisconsin, so they're clearly an out-of-state investor. I can say like, hey, you own this property for 10 years, you're looking to sell, you haven't lived here in 50 years or whatever that may be, and that gives me like leads and stuff like that.
You should be a realtor.
Wait, so how do you get that information?
It's on the Milwaukee, like the Milwaukee County page. Like you just type in their database. It has it from the last, I want to say, 20 years.
So you just find all the units and then you do that. So you run a.
So they're two separate. So what I get from the agents, I put that into my own database. But then what I pull from the Milwaukee County website, that is just me looking at the data and seeing like where's the best place to buy, who your address is, whatever that's not in Wisconsin. I know that if you clearly own this property, you don't live here, so therefore you're an investor. So therefore I can leverage that to reach out to say, hey, you want to seller financing or something like that?
Wholesaling, basically, you call it cold calling?
Pretty
people or
much.
what? I mean,
Pretty much, yeah.
How do you
So what
get
is
the-
your, how do you get to your next deal?
Deal machine. You don't gotta do all this stuff he's doing.
It already is out there?
How do you
Yeah.
decide
It's already
where
out
to-
there?
Yeah,
There's a
there's a
Figure out this deal.
program
Yeah.
called Deal Machine, and
So my
it's
criteria
basic for
right now
wholesalers.
is gonna be
Okay.
that give them the information that
for
us
places I will
brokers
entertain.
have.
There's also prop stream.
Prop stream.
You have to pay for that though?
2 units at the
Yeah.
bottom, and then.
'Cause they pull the
one
same
unit
stuff.
at the top.
So they pull it from MLS?
But I'm kind of.
Some of them
MLS
do.
or the Milwaukee County. You just gotta pay for it to get plugged into it.
Gotcha.
And a lot
So
of
there's-
them,
I can do, yeah.
So
I can
Deal
do
Machine
one.
is like a
I'm
national
this is me, so-
company. They
No,
pay to
I mean, there are
plug into
boards
all these.
that a lot of
So
them
they're
do.
getting paid to do what he's
Yeah,
doing.
so there's
on his
a-
own.
like, there's,
Yeah.
right, there's
Yeah.
like, even
And
if you go
doing it
down,
for you.
and a lot of them will set you up where you
North
can
Ave,
like,
Johnson, North Ave.
you can
Yeah, so
automatically
it's-
send
it's-
letters to
every
like all
street
the
is
people
4
you've
places.
selected in the list. And
Blue
they
Mountain.
like build stuff on top of it. Yeah, exactly.
And then do what he's doing. Hey, look at all addresses where the owner,
So just
And then
more-
out-
main
out of-
address is
out of
not the
state.
same.
In
Oh,
that
different.
area.
Cause you can't technically say out of state, it's just, does these,
But
Your other
do
ones,
their
they-
mailing address
Right.
match
Yeah.
this
So,
home address?
oh, I see.
And if it's
So,
no,
yeah,
then you've
just
seen
how
that
you
it's
you can
either out of
assume.
state or an investment.
Right. Interesting.
If,
So
if
do
I,
you-
cause I can't.
So I
afford
was
now, just
almost
yet.
gonna,
I'm
we were
like
actually on a
20%
verbal
right now.
contract with
Yeah.
2 properties,
but-
and then our
Yeah.
primary came
Average
about, so
rent,
it
I
kind of
think
backed
it's
out of
like
it.
Yeah.
800.
But they were,
8 and
basically,
9,
the guy was crazy with
1,000,
his
of course,
offer,
like,
and
9,
we got him down to
8 and
2
9,
for 1,
it
basically,
goes
because he
back
was
for
desperate. And we walked through them, and they were rough. And so if I would have bought them with personal funds, of either retirement, borrowing against a retirement account or whatever, do you guys, obviously I'd have to fix them up to be eligible, because some of them probably wouldn't have
That's
been
not a lot of room.
Freddie
That's
Fannie
It's not,
eligible
but-
kind of thing.
There- from
But
what
do you
I've
have to
seen, like, I
wait
probably
a
have,
certain
like,
time,
50
or?
For a cash
not
out?
50,
Right.
but it's a 50 data
I just looked at that guideline. Shut.
On market even, because they're all being.
It's either
segregated in
6
MLS.
months or 12 months.
How is that enough spread? to
For an
get-
investment property, it might be
You
12
buy
months.
it,
I think
and
that's
you
what I
raise
looked
it
at.
only $100,
I can look.
$200.
So I'd be stuck
Seems like not
for
enough
12
spread.
months of my own money
So
or
what's-
hard money, or
what
however I
numbers
bought
you
it.
So
You can't.
Before you
Regardless.
cash out and pay it back.
Right.
Like essentially my buy decision.
I can double check.
So
I
that's,
said I would really realistically want.
that's even, because I thought I read somewhere that that's if you bought it with a bank and then you refinanced your existing mortgage.
No, you have to hold
But
the
so
title.
you have to hold title for
Yeah.
a year.
400, yep. 400,
Pretty sure it's a
450.
year for investment.
If it falls
If
below.
that's
Even if
not
you pay for
something that's
cash?
like straight,
Right,
yeah.
that's what I was
I would
saying.
need
To
make
cash
sure that
out.
I can get into one of
So I
those
bought it cash,
completely
I
remodeled.
fixed it up.
15, 20 grand.
now I wanna bring it to
Remodel that
you
one
to
unit,
cash out
and
refi.
then
I
would
gotta
have
wait
to
6 months?
recycle, so therefore I
Well,
would take
except-
that
but-
For a primary, but I
Except-
think it's 12 for an investment. Email me and I'll double check with
But
Lori.
would that be a cash out refi, or would that just be?
all 4 units
Yeah.
are-
I mean, I guess it
It
is.
is
Yeah.
a
Doesn't
cash
I
out.
guess in my
Doesn't
head, I was
matter.
thinking it's not your loan, so you don't care, but it is still a refi.
Am I still staying?
You're refinancing.
Yeah, you're
refinancing
refinancing
So
someone
the
else's
definition
loan.
of a cash out is you're not paying off a
You wanna
first
move over
mortgage.
from your
Sure.
unit to this unit,
So if
feel
you
free.
have
It's a $100 increase.
any
I'm gonna
kind
go
of
to your unit,
asset
I'm gonna
that you're
reinstate it.
utilizing to buy it cash, it's not a mortgage.
Right.
So so the property's free and clear, so you're cashing out.
And
I gotta
I'm
still
also
wait?
going to give them
Yes.
their own
Really?
Yes.
I was splitting.
So-
4 units or
No.
1 unit?
But I'm just
No,
thinking
that's
like
what
with
I-
No,
hard
I know,
money.
I don't
Yeah,
agree
there's
with it, but yeah.
Then if I was to have a hard money and I do the same thing and I need to refinance and I get cash out of it and it's within 6 months.
If
Yeah.
it's a lien against the property, it's a rate and term.
Okay.
7,200 a year on an
Hmm.
80K.
Wait, say that?
No,
If
he was
you're
saying
doing like a
20
hard money
all
lender.
for it,
Right.
20 per.
You can turn around and refinance
No,
that
not all
as a
four.
rate
I
and
was
term.
just- The
But you-
two.
okay.
It's just the
two
cash
are gonna
out.
be- the two are
But
gonna.
we're
That's
not
the
able to
waiting
cash
period.
out.
Or what?
No.
Not on top of
just
paying off the
depending
first
on how it
lien.
look, 'cause if it's like.
So you'd have to just
hypothetically, if it's 750,
pay it off
750
and
for a
sit with
one-bedroom,
Like,
the
what did you
that's
buy
fairly-
now?
profits
fairly
in
low.
But
equity.
I'm saying.
Yes.
So is that why people fix and flip and sell?
Yes.
So you
It
buy it
depends on how
for
much
200,000.
That's just
Like,
hypothetical.
yeah.
What is the
You're
one you
saying,
bought now?
and you
What
fix
is
it up and
Are you gonna do anything? Is
buy it with hard money.
No, so
And then
upstairs.
A month or two later, I could refinance with you, but it would be a 30-year for 200,000.
Correct.
And if
In
it's
general, I know you're
valued at
hypothetical. I totally get that.
275,
What I would say is.
well, then
just
sucks to be
you'd
you,
be shocked, I
technically,
think.
or you paid off
Not
more of
what
your
people are
property.
willing to
Right.
live with and
So
the
how-
fact that you should like do less, like you should improve it.
So if I do that
every
with a hard
tenant
money
in
within
property,
the
any
3
chance you
months,
can get, in my opinion.
you're
But
just
I
gonna
think
give
you'd
me a
be
loan
shocked
to
with
cover
the
what I
amount
did,
of,
and then I have to wait
like,
another, 3 more months to
top of the
refinance to get the
line
cash
amount of
out?
spending.
Yeah, you
Because
might as
if
well
you're
wait.
like,
You don't do it,
Yeah.
then you just-
Unless the
spend it
property,
all
honestly, unless the
Yeah.
property's an
just a
LMIT, then you're paying
slightly
$500
larger
to do
return
it.
Month to month, right? You wanna get
I just
out.
get nervous because of hard money, because they tend to, like, I know one, they'll charge you $10,000
You can,
If you
instead of
don't-
doing a
if
whole
you don't do
gut
the stuff on
Totally.
time.
Totally.
just like
So,
do the
if I'm at the
surface
5-month
that's
mark,
passable,
would
so
y'all
instead of
work
10
with
or
it?
12,
No,
it's
it's still gotta be 6
You know what I'm
months.
saying? Like shit like that.
And
Like,
I think
that
it's 12
could get
months
me
for
to
an
the next
investment,
renter
but
who's
email me and I'll
thrilled
CC you on the
to be in
answers.
this updated
Right.
space,
Yeah, so I don't
and I'm
forget.
Still getting $200 more a month
Yeah,
than the last
that's-
person. and I
Yeah,
didn't
because
spend
this one, like, it was almost a
Yeah.
slam dunk.
That's just.
And I kind of kicked myself for not buying it, but I was like, it's rough. And
But
honestly, I was worried about
Like,
the
that
tenants
is
getting out. That was gonna be my
just for
thing.
me,
Like,
not overspending on the remodels.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah,
You know, you can write that in
improve
your offer.
Spaces from
This
what
guy
they
wasn't
were
doing that.
He wasn't?
This guy was.
without spending.
he
giving
wouldn't
cash
have,
in 2
he wouldn't have
months.
accepted the
Yeah,
offer.
he was giving
with those
cash.
terms,
I mean,
yeah.
he went, they were listed at
Ritz, right?
315
I'm pretty
each.
sure you know that.
And he
But yeah,
told me
just,
give him 295.
Walking that line is tough. It's
No, sorry,
uh,
395.
it's all for you. That'd be a big move.
So he
for
was
sure, though.
just give me the money.
But,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
don't- you think end
yeah.
of this year or next year?
So plan is for
But yeah, it was-
2027, to buy the 4.
And then apparently I did the
it's
legwork
either
because someone else got it for like
2028,
$3,000 more than what I was.
So therefore.
You're welcome.
Buy one, take like that, and then-
This guy had like 60.
Work the table first.
portfolios. And you need money quick.
Yeah. You just stick with
Yeah,
it.
one of
I
them
have
we
to get
walked
out of
over.
here
Okay,
too.
no worries, you.
Yeah, just kind of just.
You're at the 8 o'clock mark.
You're already in it.
Have
You
you
like
gotten
it
into
so
any
far.
investments
It
yourself?
only gets better from here.
No, well,
You got a couple of rent checks.
so our
Oh,
first
yeah.
home that we
Yeah,
bought,
she didn't want to be alone.
our
Oh.
first home that we bought,